Hey there guys, welcome back to another episode of Monster Super League. It's your boy Odin, and today I'm bringing you guys a Dark Titan guide. I wanted to show you guys what the end game looks like and what you guys can do from beginner to mid game and to, of course, getting into end game, and trying to show you guys how you should be setting up your teams, or what the Dark Titan does, and yeah, just kind of show you overall how this team essentially works. So the first team I'm going to show you guys here is going to be the end game team. This team is essentially a composition of pure damage and survivability. As you guys can see, I have on the left hand side all my debuffers, with the MVP Water Cura being the leader, providing the exposed weakness and the attack up for the left hand side. Then you have Scheherazade for the defense down and the weaken. And then you have Cernunnos with the Courageous Strike and the shield. And then, of course, the infamous White Whale Water Bast, providing the weaken and defense up for the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, we have Boltwing with exposed weakness and Courageous Strike. I think I actually should reverse that. It's Courageous Strike and then exposed weakness on the 5-star skill. Hana with the defense or the attack down and defense up. And then Siegfried being the double Courageous Striker, so he will be doing damage. And then Venus with attack down and attack up. So the basic concept here, guys, is that you're going to be using Cura on the left-hand side to leave the exposed weakness for the right-hand side, so that the Boltwing and the Siegfried will take advantage of the elemental weakness to deal double damage to the Dark Titan. The main reason why you would want a Boltwing here as a leader is because he has the crit damage leader skill, and because he is a slow attacker, which means he's going to leave exposed weakness up, so that your first group on the left hand side, Cernunnos, will take advantage of that exposed weakness because he is a quick and fast attacker. But I will say that you do need his costume in order to take advantage of the exposed weakness, because if you don't have his costume, his attack speed is slightly slower, so you may not always get the exposed weakness. This is essentially the best lineup that you guys can come up with for the Dark Titan. Cernunnos being the most expensive mon here. Light Siegfried being the best and cheapest Courageous Striker, because you can pick him up from Soulstones from the Colossus dungeon, which you can do twice a day for 5 days a week. So with that said, I'm just going to show you guys what this team does here at level 121 against the Dark Titan, and show you guys a little bit about how this essentially works. The Dark Titan on the top lane, you will definitely need resist, and that's because he does defense down, well, I should say defense down after silence in the first 2 turns. So for the first 2 turns, he's just going to silence you, which prevents you from using your skills like attack down, defense down, exposed weakness, mainly the 5-star skill, because you are essentially spamming it. For somebody like Cernunnos to get silence, it's actually a good thing, because that means he's going to use his Courageous Strike, since he can't do or apply his his shield. But anyway, Cernunnos here is really good because he does do shield, so that will keep your left hand side team surviving a little bit longer, and it does work out pretty well, as you guys can see, for the majority of the time. So right off the bat, you guys will see that you are now my top row is resisting. They are resisting the defense down that the Dark Titan applies onto you. So the goal here for the top lane is to go for at least 85% resist on all of your Astromon. Anything less than that means you're going to be getting defense down, and if you get hit by defense down, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. Defense down reduces your defense by 50%, and Darkmon has 100% crit damage, so you have to remember that. So that means he's going to be hitting you really hard. You don't need blind for him, because blind is essentially kind of useless, because you're actually going for the most amount of damage for endgame. But blind can be used if you are not endgame. So if you're a mid-game player or a beginner player, it's totally okay to use blind here to reduce a little bit of the damage. However, if you're a beginner or a mid-game player, I would actually advise for you guys to go for damage instead, because dealing more damage quicker means you have less damage to heal, if that makes sense. Looks like I'm having really bad luck with my defense or with my attack down already, so it looks like I might be dying here in the next turn or two. But that's just RNG. Don't be upset if 1 week you deal 100 million on a damage and another week you only deal 25 or 30 million on a Titan. That's just the way that RNG goes. Sometimes you get really lucky and sometimes you don't. So very RNG dependent for the Titans. So don't be discouraged if some weeks you don't do as well as others. In the end game here, most of the times you are essentially going to be working overtime to get better teams. But yeah, so let me go ahead and give up on this round here because there's nothing left for the front lane to do. And we'll go ahead and view the back lane again. And as you guys can see, the three biggest debuffs that you need is weaken, defense down, and attack down. Blind, like I said, for endgame is not really necessary because I'm using shield with Cernunos, and because in general most of my Astromon have trinkets and relics and crit resist gems, so not as necessary to have blind as the other Titans, like the Light Titan, for example. But as you guys can see, I'm already at 100 million. I was kind of hoping to see or point out when I do have exposed weakness, so maybe Cernunos will take advantage of the exposed weakness here, and nope, looks like Bass stole it, but that's okay. But you guys can kind of see how that works is, if your left-hand side team, the Cura is leaving the exposed weakness up for your right-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, the Bolt Wing is leaving the exposed weakness for Cernunos on the left-hand side. Like I said, this is essentially the best team composition for endgame. You guys can definitely work on this team. There's a couple other Astromon that you can actually use, like the Water Gilgamesh is actually really good here. Like if you didn't have Cernunos, you would actually prefer to have somebody like the Water Gilgamesh on this team, because he does provide weakness a little bit faster, and he still has the Courageous Strike skill, which means you'll still be covered by having a little bit of extra damage in there as well. Overall though, in general, for a practice run, I'm having really bad RNG so far, but at least my damage is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I probably am going to die very soon if I don't start landing some of these debuffs, especially defense down, because that's preventing me from dealing damage. Alright, so finally Scheherazade landed with defense down, and looks like I'm finally going to get going. With this team setups, guys, the Wood Hana is really the MVP for the right hand side because she is dealing the most healing. So it's very important that you guys build her an HP defense recovery and super evolve her, because if you don't super evolve her, you're missing out on about 10% extra recovery. And of course, if you don't have her skill booked, you're really losing out on a lot of healing from your Hana. So very important to skill book your Hanas, very important to skill book your Venuses as well. It is very difficult to come up with good team compositions without those necessary heals from these mons. And looks like I already basically died. My record on Dark Titan is actually 275 million right now. And that's just, RNG dependent. But that's with this team. This team is actually not bad. I will show you guys a little bit of my gem setups on my Courageous Strikers, like the Light Siegfried, the Bolt Wing, and the Cernunos. But you guys get the gist of how this endgame Titan essentially works here, and hopefully it's enough to give you guys something to strive to or to look forward to. You know, like I said, just continue to work on your Titans team setups. Titans is really, really fun once you get some good damage in, and once you've built up the monster you need for it. It does require a lot of heavy work, so, you know, I understand if a lot of you guys really just don't put in that much effort into Titans. But essentially, if you want to make it to end game or mid game play and you want to continue to do your summons, you're going to want to do Titans. The rewards that you get from the weekly runs is very, very important, so that you guys can essentially get some gems at the end of the week. But there you go, guys. Here is 189. Nothing too crazy. Unfortunately, bad RNG, but you know, I don't feel like re-recording this over and over again for the 10th time, because this literally is like the 12th time I'm recording this. So make sure you guys smash that like button for me, because I've literally been at this for like at least 2 hours now. But there we go. So this Siegfried is on crit damage, attack. He has a pretty 10,000 attacks, so really good stats there. Defense 5,200. I could definitely improve on his HP, and I believe I actually have to redo his enhancements as well. So there's that. This one 5 for the skill books, so max skill books, and this one's an attack, crit damage, and attack, or crit rate, crit damage, and attack. So this one's used on my front lane. He does have immunity. Immunity is really good to remove all negative effects, which is very, very much needed in the front lane. However, you would actually prefer to have devastating strikes on him, because devastating strikes is going to allow you to deal more damage. And like I said, your goal in Titans is to deal as much damage as possible in a short amount of time. Here is my Light Cernunos, and this one's actually really good because he does have that devastating strikes. Got really lucky with the roll there, and he is an attack crit damage. Triple attack is actually very, very good on him as well, because the triple attack is going to allow you to build up your shield. But I find that attack crit damage allows me to deal a little bit more damage quicker, because the Courageous Strike is on a 3-star skill. So I'm not really like spamming his shield as often as I'd like. I'm mainly taking advantage of the Courageous Strike there by using attack crit damage. So there you go. Bolt Wing, attack, crit rate, attack. So that's essentially what your gem setups you want them to be like. This one I think is on attack crit damage, but this one's on a defense and resist indomitability gem. So I could use some improvement there. And then for your healers, guys, I will show you guys a little bit of some of my healers here. So my Bass is an HP defense recovery. And I do need to change her gem set, because she actually needs recovery heavily, and she should actually be on defense recovery. I just didn't have a good enough gem of life set to give her. Excuse me, guys. To improve her healing. But here is the Hana, fully skill booked. She is on HP, defense, and recovery. Could definitely improve a lot of these gems. The Scheherazad's on HP defense, because she is a tank, so she's going to have a little bit higher HP. You can also do HP defense as well, so just like this one. So it all depends. Venus's should always be on HP defense recovery, but it's up to you guys whether or not you want to use her on HP defense if you're not using her to heal as much. For the Cura's defense, HP, or HP defense recovery is okay as well. Although the Cura is actually pretty squishy, so you'd want to put her on HP defense, or HP defense, like I have mine here. So there you go, guys. That's the end game team. I'll try not to get too long with this video, but I will go ahead and show you guys what the beginner teams looks like. So for the beginner teams, you essentially want to try to build the 2 water Fungors if you don't have the water Curas. You are going to need Weaken, so you can use somebody like the Wood Garuda or the Water Gilgamesh, like I said. So just like this one here. You also want to definitely have some Hanas. using the Hanas for the attack down and defense up. Unfortunately, she's one of the very hard mons that you need to basically have or pick up in order to do Titans. Because if you don't have a Wood Hana, and hopefully she's easy enough to get for a lot of you guys, but if you don't have a Wood Hana, you're really missing out on the defense up and the attack down, which is very, very much needed in Titans. She is she is the best healer for Titans overall, just because of her Super Ascension or Super Evo and her stats. As you guys can see, though, on the right-hand side, I do have a Shinobi and an Acer. You could also use an Acer leader skill or like a Balrona. You could actually use a Wood Beiji as well. Wood Beiji just has an HP leader skill, so it's not going to be the best leader skill that you can use. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. If you don't have a decent leader skill, don't worry about it. You are actually going to be better off using no leader skill and placing a double courageous striker on the first slot to take advantage of the exposed weakness from the left-hand side. So, but overall, in general, guys, you are going to want to build 2 Water Curas at the very minimum for the left-hand side. Defense down and weekend, like I said, so there's your Scheherazade. It's a good monster to use on the left-hand side. And then, of course, the Gilgameshes for the weekend and the Courageous Strike, and kind of similar to this other setup here. On the right-hand side, you're definitely going to want to have 2 damage dealers, and you're going to want to have defense up for sure. So there's the Fire Lumina, for example, is there. She has defense down and defense up, so that'll provide the defense up for the right-hand side. And then you're also going to want to need attack down and attack up. The other Astromon that have attack down and attack up are going to be Baby Shark and the Fire Cupid, you know, next to the Dark Venus. The problem that most of you guys will encounter if you are using the Fire Cupid, though, is that he does tend to steal the exposed weakness from the right-hand side. And that's because his attack is super, super quick, much quicker than a lot of the Courageous Strikers. So unfortunately, he's not going to be optimal in any situation whatsoever. But if you don't have any other attack down, attack up buffer, like the Baby Shark or the Dark Venus, you can use the Fire, what's his name, Cupid. It's just that, you know, every now and then, around 50% of the time, whenever he's not healing, he's going to take the exposed weakness, which is a shame, and I really wish they would fix that. But it is what it is. Maybe sometime later down the road, if they give him a costume, he may be usable. But for now, there is no way to use him. But hey, like I said, if you don't have anybody else, you can use the Fire Cupid. But most definitely, guys, pick up the Baby Shark. The Baby Shark is really, really good. He's the cheaper option compared to the Dark Venus. And he also comes back around here and there during the exotic capture festival. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for him there. But other than that, guys, you guys can kind of see the other lineup here. If you need another defense down, you can use somebody like the Water Hades. You can also use somebody like the Wood Onmyoji on the left-hand side as well, because she has defense down and Courageous Strike. So you essentially want to kind of spread out as much damage as possible. For your, you know, most of your damage dealers, they're going to either be on 2 setups, either attack, attack, attack on Ruin set, or attack, attack, crit damage on Ruin set for the best damage. But of course, if you can't make triple attack work or attack, attack, crit damage work, attack, attack, crit rate is going to be your best set, or the go-to set for a lot of you guys. And don't sleep on the gems from the Slumbering City, guys. I'm going to show you guys this Water Gilgamesh, because he is actually on like 4-star gems, like no joke. So there we go, crit damage. Well, I think that's on a 5-star. Oh, he's on a 5-star gems, and then 1 4-star gem. Just because I didn't want to make him too OP. But once again, guys, I'm just going to show you really quickly how some of these teams work, just like how I showed you guys on the Light Titan setup. There's the left-hand side, dropping down some of the debuffs. Luckily, we're able to get the attack down and defense down. And I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit so you guys can kind of see. But there's the exposed weakness being left for the right-hand side. As you guys can see, the Water Fungor. Really, really good Nat 2 to build up. super easy to get on the last stage of the map as well. So take advantage of that, guys. He is actually really, really good. For the majority of you guys, if you are coming back to the game, or if you're new to the game, you do get a Nat 5 card selector. And so most of you guys should have a Water Acer, and that's why I put her here to kind of show you guys that you guys should be using the Water Acer. From the variant Nat 5 selective summon that is now available in the game, you can pick one Nat 5 variant to start the game with. I highly recommend you guys to pick up a Fire Shinobi variant. So I think you get like 10 tries to try to get a variant out of there. So my advice is for you guys to just keep rolling or save whenever you come up with a Fire Shinobi or any Shinobi in general. And hope that you guys just essentially pull a Fire Shinobi variant. If you don't pull a fire one, if you try to at least pull a water or a wood one, because you can then feed that to the Fire Shinobi later down the road to get him to Evo 3. And the reason why I say that, guys, because you do need 2 fire variant Shinobis for the Wood Titan. So one way or another, you're going to need that Fire Shinobi variant. And he's pretty easy to get. And since they're giving you one for free from the variant selective summon, I highly recommend you guys to pick him up from there. But anyways, guys, point of this is not to showcase damage. It's just to show you guys that this team does work. And as you guys can see, the Evo 2 or the Nat 2s are still alive here, even at level 50 with like really crappy gems. So it is totally doable. A lot of you guys can see that. And hopefully this helps you or gets you encouraged to try out some of the Titans. That said, I'm going to go ahead and give up on this round. And we'll try out the next team. But as you guys can see, level 50s still totally work here. There was the Cupid right there stealing the exposed weakness. Hopefully he does it again so that you guys can see how he is essentially not really effective. And there he is stealing it right there. You can kind of see the text over him. It says exposed weakness right next to the Fire Cupid, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right, so let's see if he does it again. And there he is again. It says weakness struck over the Cupid. But yeah, guys, this is a pretty easy and nice way to show you guys how those teams can work. It's up to you guys to find the mons and to build them up and to use them. But these are some pretty workable teams that you guys can use. And as you guys see, I'm level 121 Dark Titan with level 50 Nat 2s, and I'm already at 40 million. So this is very, very achievable for a lot of you guys. Don't give up. Keep working on your teams, and I'm sure you guys will reach mid-game really, really quickly, or end-game really, really quickly as well. And then I will show you guys the last team as well, because the last team is essentially your mid-game team. The mid-game team, depending on what mons you have, you can actually find better team compositions in this. But the main setup here is essentially you're going for maximizing damage. So I don't have another Cernunos, but I am using the Water Gilgamesh on this setup. And let's go ahead and reduce the Titan level down to 101 so that this will be a little bit easier and quicker. And you guys will see this is still very, very much doable. And looks like I picked the wrong team, of course. Oh boy. Kind of hoping I didn't have to waste too much time on this, but looks like I... Unfortunately, when you change the level, it also changes the row that you're attacking. I do love the fact that they added the practice mode to the Titans, and I hope that they do the same thing for the Apophis dungeon next, because that is very, very much needed. I do have the Apophis guides in the works, and I'm hoping that you guys will see how those work here soon. But the Apophis really, really does have a lot of different team compositions. All right, so here we go. Here's that team that I did want to show you guys. This is a little bit more of a damage-focused team. No Cernunos, and no Bolt Wings, so just double Courageous Strikers. And it does work just the same. So many different ways to build for the Dark Titan. Two key things that you need to or worry about is the silence on the first 2 turns. But silence is not really very dangerous because silence only lasts for 2 turns, and it's only preventing you from activating your 5-star skill. So very easy to get away from not using it for the first 2 turns. And then after that, guys, like I said, you do need the resist, because without the resist, you're getting that defense down applied. So that's gonna really cause you some pretty dangerous situations. If you have defense down applied, you're gonna take a lot of damage. So you guys can see there, my Acer and my Water Bottle one are almost dead because they don't have defense up, and because they have defense down. But looks like once we're able to get the defense up, they should be able to survive quite better compared to before. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this front line here. On the back lane, guys, you don't need to worry about resist because essentially you're not getting the defense down applied. You're only worrying about the silence in the first 2 turns. And if you're able to resist, like I just did, you don't have to worry about it at all. So, but there it is, guys. Very easy Titan mode for the Dark Titan. Hopefully this guide was useful to you. Make sure you press like on the video if you found this helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you are new. Of course, hit up that notification bell because I will be loading up the other Titans guides here in the next couple of days. But hopefully you guys find this useful, and let me know in the comment section down below if it does help you. I read every comment and I try to respond to every comment on my channel as well. So thank you guys for the support, and I'll be seeing you guys all on the next video. Take it easy, guys.